The story begins 65 years ago when the world was almost destroyed due to a nuclear war. Electricity and all kinds of communication systems were completely wiped out in a single night. The entire world was going through a very dark phase. During this time, a scientist discovered the Genesis tree in the Amazon rainforest. The magical flower of this tree had so much power that it could supply electricity to the entire world. With its help, humans began rebuilding everything once again. After this discovery, all Genesis trees came under government control. After the nuclear war, nearly 90% of the children born began to suffer from genetic problems. To solve this issue, scientists injected the flower of the Genesis tree into human DNA. As a result, every human began to be born with some kind of power while still in their mother's womb. Some had extremely sharp hearing, while others had exceptionally powerful eyesight. People born with such abilities were called genetics, and they lived like kings in this new world. However, around 10% of people had weak immune systems, due to which their bodies completely rejected the flower. These people were called specials, and they were only given small jobs like cleaning, maintenance, and similar work. Now we see Chloe at the Genesis Institute, where she has come on a class trip pretending to be a student. Her wheelchair-bound partner Leon has entered the institute disguised as a cleaner. When everyone was distracted, Leon used a device to open a locked door and entered a private area. After checking the map, he realized that 2 guards were standing nearby. So he sent a small toy shaped like a mouse. The guards chased it and caught it, but sleep gas was released from inside the toy, knocking both guards unconscious. Leon took their keys, reached the ventilation system and connected a gas tank. Soon, the sleeping gas traveled through the pipes and put the scientists to sleep. Leon put on a mask and tried to enter the lab, but his access code was wrong. He called Chloe and asked her to bring the correct code. In the main lobby, Chloe overheard some boys talking about the specials, saying that they should be killed. Chloe started arguing with them and other kids began provoking the situation. A guard rushed in. Pretending to be helpless, Chloe asked the guard for help, and at the same time she stole a notebook from his pocket. Inside the notebook, she found the correct code and sent it to Leon. As soon as Leon received the code, he quickly entered the lab. He took out his mother's old watch, which had the words written on it. "We are all one. We are all equal." Reading this gave him courage. He pulled a lever, the machine opened, and inside was the Genesis tree. He took out an old weapon and began breaking the glass enclosure. But as soon as he tried to pluck the flower, the tree fired out sharp spikes, and suddenly the alarm started blaring. Despite this, Leon packed the flower into a blue capsule. An announcement was made that the building was going into lockdown and everyone must exit immediately. Chloe wanted to wait for Leon, but the guards forced her out along with the other students. By sheer luck, Leon also managed to escape in time. Outside, Leon deliberately bumped into Chloe, causing her teddy bear to fall. Before returning the teddy, he hid the capsule inside it. When the guards searched Leon's pockets, they found only a watch. They mocked the words written on it and called Leon a freak. One man carefully checked all the students, but even he never imagined that the flower could be hidden inside a teddy bear. After some time, Chloe and Leon stood on the street watching the news on a giant screen. Senator Frank was saying that why use the flower before birth? Why not use it after people are born? Then the famous singer Mira appeared and announced that she was going on a free tour of the district of powerless people so that everyone could live together in harmony. After changing his appearance, Leon explained to Chloe that politicians and celebrities, they only create drama. They don't care about people like us. Just a little while ago we saw a poor man being pushed out of a food store on the street. Then we noticed a cleaning man erasing something from a window. It said, "Death to the genetics," which meant that not everyone was happy to see the genetics. Meanwhile, Myra's manager told her that the situation was becoming dangerous. The special district, where the 10% of people live whose bodies didn't accept the flower, was already risky and now would be even more crowded. Therefore, the autograph session had to be cancelled. Myra did not like this at all. She said that this was the only way unity could come. She needed to face the people, make them feel like her. She refused to cancel the event. When Chloe and Leon were heading home, the guards at the special district gate checked their IDs. Leon went shopping while Chloe watched Frank's interview on TV. Frank was saying that he had created a medicine that would allow the 10% of people who hadn't received powers to feel the strength now. They could also become like everyone else. Chloe was happy to hear this, but Leon said it was all a lie. After this, both returned to a small workshop. Chloe grew plants there while Leon built devices. Leon extracted the parts of the flowers that contained power and used them to make special prosthetics for disabled people so they could live normal lives. The money from their clients helped them manage daily expenses. After finishing a client's work, a man called from the genetic district saying he needed something fixed. Chloe refused, saying they couldn't go anywhere to fix it, it had to be done in the shop. But when Leon heard that the man was willing to pay triple, he said no one would come otherwise. Chloe was worried because this was a little illegal. Leon reassured her, saying he knew all the routes, where guards were, where they weren't. He could enter without anyone noticing. Now they reached a fancy restaurant where the cook let them in through the back door. The cook was also like them, he had a mechanical suit to help him move. Suddenly, after becoming disabled, a gang called the Anti-Genetics broke in, destroyed the electricity and started attacking. Leon worked on fixing the suit. The cook said he would check why the electricity went out and also collect their payment. The gang started destroying the restaurant and killing people with special powers. Within minutes, many tables were smashed and there were bodies all over the floor. Then the gang leader began writing something on the wall. At that moment, the cook returned to the kitchen, covered in blood. With his last breath, he told Chloe and Leon what was happening outside and then died. Now Chloe and Leon tried to escape, but the back door was locked. They would have to think fast to get out. Leon said to Chloe that the cooks help me put on the mechanical suit. A few minutes later, 2 gang members entered the kitchen. They could only see the dead cook because Chloe and Leon were hiding. The men were writing something on the wall while talking about how there would be a small show tomorrow and a much bigger operation the next day. One of the thugs tried to suggest a few ideas, but the boss threatened him with a knife, saying the plan would not change. Got it? One man dropped a piece of paper, which Chloe quietly picked up. Just then they heard police sirens and the gang members fled. Suddenly Leon's suit lost control. It lifted him up on its own and slammed him against the counter. When the 2 men rushed toward him, Leon fought back using dishes and boiling water. During the fight, the boss's mask tore open, revealing his face. The thugs pinned Leon to the counter and Chloe jumped in to save him. Leon threw flour at the attackers and quickly tried to escape. Holding Chloe's hand, he ran toward the exit. Using the suit's strength, Leon broke down the door and both of them escaped. Outside, Leon found it very difficult to move in the suit. Chloe supported him and led him into a narrow alley. Police vehicles passed nearby but failed to notice them. Chloe checked the damage and realized that one of the suit's legs was slightly broken. That's why she helped Leon all the way home. The next day, reporters covered the entire incident. Then a still image from security cameras showed Leon and Chloe. The media began spreading rumors that they might be part of the gang. All their information was collected to be sent to the police. Special Forces Captain Hughes announced that the area where people without special powers lived had become a hub of crime and that a raid on the special district would happen soon. Leon and Chloe were terrified because they recognized him. He was actually the leader of the same gang whose face they had seen during the fight the previous night. Chloe opened the paper she had picked up and discovered that it was a flyer for Myra's concert, with a small map printed inside. They realized that the gang was planning to attack the concert and that people like them would be blamed for it. Leon panicked and began packing their belongings so they could leave the city. But Chloe stopped him and said they had to save the people. We're the only ones who know where the attack will happen. So many innocent people will die there. Are we really going to let that happen? Leon replied that a man who couldn't walk properly and a 12-year-old girl couldn't do anything. Hearing this, Chloe broke down in tears. She said, "Brother, you're scared," and ran away. Leon wanted to stop her but couldn't. Then a flashback is shown. A young Leon had entered his father's office to check his file. There, he discovered that he was a special. When his father realized his son was a special, he grabbed him on the spot. Remembering this and looking at his mother's watch, Leon decided that he had to do something. A few hours later, Chloe returned and saw Leon repairing the suit. She helped him put it on. Leon moved his arms and legs slightly and said that he would capture Hughes and force him to confess his crimes. Leon created weapons for himself using scrap materials and demonstrated his strength by bending metal with ease. When Chloe noticed special wiring inside the suit, she rushed to make a chemical that would activate the weapons installed in it. At the same time, Mira was performing her concert in the special district. The crowd went completely out of control upon seeing her. People began pushing against the fences. The security struggled to push them back. After the concert, Mira was about to board the bus, when the guards attacked her security team and manager, knocking them down. Then the rebels arrived in a truck and began writing their messages on the walls. Hughes threatened Mira, saying, "Come quietly with us or it will be bad for you." At that moment, Leon, wearing his suit and mask, appeared. He jumped from the balcony and immediately started attacking. But thanks to Chloe's chemicals, plants began to grow from the suit. Seeing this, the gang laughed, but Leon used those very plants as weapons. One man fell due to gas, another got tangled in the vines. Chloe called out to Mira using a stolen car, while Leon fought Hughes and his men. At first, Leon landed precise punches, but the entire gang eventually surrounded him and knocked him down. Chloe rammed the car into one of the attackers. Seizing the opportunity, Leon jumped into the car, but Mira screamed. There was no time to explain, so Chloe quickly drove the car, taking everyone to safety. They reached home and locked the doors while the gang searched for them in the streets. On TV, reporters were saying that someone had tried to kidnap Mira, but an unknown hero had saved her. Meanwhile, Mira noticed that Leon was injured. She quickly applied ointment and bandages to his wounds, explaining that she had once wanted to become a doctor. Chloe drew a flower hero illustration of Leon which he did not like, but Mira said, "It's fine if you don't." Now Leon revealed the truth about Hughes to Mira. Mira said she wanted to go home as soon as possible because she had an event the next day with Frank at the family center. Leon feared that the anti-genetics gang would target Frank next. Since they had attacked Mira today, they would definitely strike Frank tomorrow. This gang was against any enhancements or changes made to people after birth. They believed people should remain as they were born. Mira wanted to alert the police about this, but Leon refused because Hughes himself was a police commander. Together they devised a plan. The next day, Mira and Leon went to the family planning center, posing as a newlywed couple wanting children. Since Mira was famous, she told the doctor, "Sir, I haven't booked an appointment or told anyone about my husband because I want to protect my family from the media." Leon somehow convinced the doctor to give them a tour of the facility. During this, Leon cleverly stole a key and distracted the staff by saying that Mira would now perform for everyone. He gathered all the people in one room. At that moment, the anti-genetics gang appeared, and Leon confronted them in the lobby. The thugs attacked him, but Leon deployed gas bombs that melted their masks. At first, Leon fought very skillfully, but there were too many attackers. They brought him down and tried to kill him. Hughes removed his mask and repeatedly punched him. Suddenly, Frank's security arrived and the gang fled. Mira revealed that she had called Frank because she had realized that Leon could not handle so many attackers alone. Leon asked why the guards hadn't followed the gang, and Frank replied, "You were more important to us than them." It was then revealed that Frank was actually Leon's father. Chloe was shocked. Leon had lied to her all this time, saying his father was dead. Angry, she ran away. Reporters entered and Frank switched to his politician mode. He said, "My son is proof that the gap between genetics and those on whom the flower didn't work has grown too wide. That's why vote carefully tomorrow." A week later, it was announced that Frank's project was approved by almost everyone. Many buses arrived at the special district, and all the poor people were moved to a medical camp outside the city. After treatment, they would have no deficiencies. Therefore, the special district would be reopened, and everyone could live together peacefully without obstacles. At the medical center, Leon asked where Chloe was, but Frank said they could not find her. When Leon mentioned Hughes, Frank quickly changed the topic. "Don't worry about any of this," he said. "I want to treat you." Leon reminded him, "When you tried to treat my mother, she died. Do you remember?" Frank apologized and admitted, "I made a mistake. Your mother even left a letter, but I was too afraid to give it to you. By the time I gathered the courage, you had already left home." Leon opened the letter. His mother had written, "I had to leave you all behind and I am sorry for that. I wanted Leon to become a good man, but I feared that his anger would consume his heart and bitterness would grow inside him. Son, learn to forgive people because no one stays with you forever." Reading this, Leon began crying, remembering his mother. Mira came and took Leon outside for fresh air. While walking, Leon saw Chloe and apologized. Chloe couldn't stay angry at her brother for long. Then Leon revealed, "I think Frank orchestrated all the attacks so that his project would get approved. But before catching him, we need evidence against him." Chloe had an idea. She borrowed a camera from a man who had one in his prosthetic device. Meanwhile, the doctors called the next patient, and Chloe entered the vents in the lab to start recording. Hughes and Frank were talking to each other. From their conversation, it became clear that they had colluded to carry out the crimes. Frank explained his plan while knocking out some patients. He wanted to extract special genes from them and inject those genes into people who already had powers. Frank called this the next evolution of humans, claiming it would make people stronger and eternally young, regardless of age. He didn't care about the specials, the disabled people. He only wanted to use them to extract the genes. Later, Chloe played the recording in the tent. Mira, crying, apologized to all the specials for being unaware of this. Leon repeated his mother's message, "We are all equal. There is no deficiency in us. We are humans too." Inspired by this, he encouraged everyone to fight. He said, "No matter what, I need my suit." Chloe told him, "I've already stolen the keys to the storage." The next day, Frank and some nurses entered Leon's room to treat him. Leon, wearing his suit under the sheet, immediately grabbed his father and snatched the syringe from the nurses. Frank said, "I did all this for you, son. I want to treat you." Leon replied, "You're a monster, nothing else." He locked Frank inside the room, took some gunpowder from Chloe and ran toward the security room. He fought the guards and knocked them down. One guard pressed the alarm button to alert everyone. Meanwhile, Chloe connected the camera to the computer to send the recording to the police as evidence. Before leaving, Mira kissed Leon and said, "Come back safely." By now, Hughes and his gang had arrived at the tent area. Leon and the specials surrounded them and a massive fight began. The specials had only ordinary items like utensils and pipes, but their numbers made the fight even. Leon's suit gave him the strength to fight multiple attackers at once. But Hughes called reinforcements with weapons. Many specials fell while fighting. Leon faced Hughes alone. Hughes eventually knocked Leon down, forcing him to flee. In the security room, a man grabbed Mira, but a special immediately struck him down. The computer finally finished uploading the footage and Chloe quickly called the police. Meanwhile, in the lab, Leon was crawling to save his life. Hughes attacked him from behind. Their fight raged between tables and control panels. Leon opened the Genesis tree machine and threw an object, cracking the glass. Hughes caught Leon, hit him and threw him onto the machinery, shattering the glass. As Hughes prepared to strike again, Leon plucked a flower. Spikes shot out from the tree, hitting Hughes in the face and knocking him down. The police arrived and arrested all of Frank's men, seizing plenty of evidence. Chloe and Mira rushed to Leon, and this time Leon went forward and kissed Mira. A week later, all news channels exposed Frank's vile plan. People were saying that a masked man had saved everyone. Rumors claimed he was Frank's son, but the police denied it. Frank had fled. The government also abandoned its policy of separating people. Now everyone was free to live and move as they wished. Meanwhile, Myra's throat was damaged so she could no longer sing, but she was happy living with Leon. Frank, however, remained at large. The story ends with him watching his son from afar.